Hey, I first have to start out this episode by saying, wow, what a great name. Shirt happens. It sure does, doesn't it? So, a few different things here. This is, can someone please tell me if they're clear enough to send to print? Much thanks. Well, first of all, this image right here is a JPEG and it's got a black background. I can see a line down this side. I can see a line down that side. So, it's certainly not ready to print. I think it's quite messy. We got this big photo image. It looks like a screenshot or something like that. I'm not sure where that's come from, but that is definitely messy. And then this one, same thing. We got that screenshot type of symbol there. So you can't screenshot images and have them be good. And they've been uploaded to Facebook. So if you want them to be quality, and you can probably see it right here, it's not good quality. I mean, you can just tell right there if you look at it. And I'm not saying that to shame anybody. I'm literally just trying to educate that the way to do this is get on your computer and zoom in and see what's going on. That's how you're going to know. So these, I'm sorry for your question not being answered. The answer is no, they're not ready. And the other answer is it's super easy to check. Oh, I did. I actually said, I'm sorry for your question not being answered. And if you have cleaned the images, you have to share a Google Drive link. So just like Summit's done here, he's actually shared a Google Drive link of a clean version of this image. And then I think you told us that they were going to go on black and gray. So, how do you clean an image like this up? So you just would take it, you would save it. And, in this case, you're either going to have to use Photoshop to remove that. It's just messy. To me, it looks like an AI generated image. So your best bet is actually to take something like this, and just deal with it with AI because, it came from AI. Let's give it back to AI. It needs, this stuff needs to be removed. Like, let's take this off, right? So we would just select around this circle in Photoshop. So having Photoshop is the key tool, to make sure it happened, right? And, sorry, I couldn't help myself. And so we're just going to select around that, hit remove, and Photoshop will do a decent job, usually, of removing something like that. Now, we don't need all this wasted space up here, but since it's already going to be this kind of aspect ratio, the thing we want to do is just make sure we scoot away from the edges there, because we want to give this back to chat. So I don't know where this came from, but seeing those little messy lines, there's little parts of this, like that right there, that really make me think this is a low quality version of ChatGPT. It's not, it's not the pro version, which can do a much better job than this. Maybe not in its initial rendering, right? But, all right, so let's just see. Let's export this. I'm just rambling here on you. We're going to call this Bobcats. Bobcats. We're going to save it. And we're going to go to ChatGPT Pro because that's what we do now. It is 2026 and we're using Pro and we're on, the 5.6 Soul. And we're going to tell it to create an image. And usually what I do when I've got a really poorly drawn image like this, where it's not crisp and clean, I'm going to say, this is the concept art I was given. I want you to recreate and redraw. Those words seem to let it know that we don't want it to just try to edit it. We want to recreate and redraw, the print ready, production quality version of this design. Keep the blue color consistent. Okay, I'm just thinking through the things that I want this to do. I just want, a two-color image. I just want blue and white. Make it just two colors, blue and white. Isolate on black. Awesome. Just two colors, blue and white, isolate on black. And we got create image already ready to go. Here we go. Okay, I could have told it vector art style. That might have been a nice way to make sure. I want crisp and clean lines, you know. Hopefully this print ready and production quality. That's the only thing I would have added to that is maybe crisp and clean lines. And, you know, we don't just have to wait for it. I mean, gosh, we can just, you know, duplicate this tab and do a new chat and paste it and copy this and hit it again because we're paying for the pro. You know, we're paying that $20 a month, or I think I'm on the $100 a month plan, so there's no reason not to. Render this vector art style with extremely crisp and clean lines. All right, we'll put an exclamation point there. Let's just see how she goes with that. So she's working over here. She's giving us something. And still I see like what I would consider messiness. It really hasn't cleaned it up that much. It's still messy. And you know, AI just kind of hates these kind of pattern-filled letters. It just really doesn't do a good job. I think this is better than the one we had before. But you know, stuff like this just bothers me. I mean, what's that blue line doing there? And we can clean all that up ourselves. It has given us a pretty much consistent white outline around the outside. That's going to make that a lot easier to select off this background than what we had before. So let's see if it's done a better job here. I don't know. I'm not happy with it, actually. I think this is a better job because we got that white outline. That's going to make our life easier. And what it's trying to do, I guess, is trying to like show like a white stroke around the inside there, but it's just ended up making it look messy to me. And it's added these little shines down here. I don't know that that's helping the artwork. So there's all my griping. Lots of griping to do. And I'm just going to select that. I'm in upscale now. And I'm going to go pretty big. Yeah, why not? Let's just do 7,000 pixels. That's huge. But that's going to make it really easy to paint out all the imperfections and flaws that we see here. So now we're going to go open this guy up. Let's open it up with Photoshop. And let's look at it. Upscale has made it big. And it all depends on the look that you're going for, right? So, you know, if you're going for, you know, something that's got these little shines on it, if that's what your goal is, then you can absolutely just roll with it the way it is. So like something like this, you know, I would just draw that circle in, you know, a little bit better than it was, and grab your brush tool and grab this white and just pop it in there. Let's make that hard. Yeah. And kind of fix that thing. And then I would grab my brush tool, got my brush tool here, and I would just paint this out. So we'll just make that go away. And I would just continue to do that everywhere I saw a flaw, or what I considered a flaw. So I don't like this. I want that to be solid. And I can just paint that out. So I don't like this. I'm just going to do it down here close. And then I'm holding shift. And I'm just, you know, holding shift and clicking. So now I'm just going to paint that close. Okay. And then just get that rounded off there. And then I'm just going to hold shift and click. Yeah, I don't really like the way that all is working out. Not real happy with that. Not sure what to do with that part, but you know, it's an image for a T-shirt, right? It's not the Mona Lisa. That's what my friend Dennis would say. I love quoting that line. He's like, Mike, you're not making the Mona Lisa here. It's a T-shirt. I think that's some wisdom that some of us need to hear sometimes. Okay, so like these little dots here, let's just deal with those with the brush tool. How about that? Like, let's just like slam it there and make it look wholesome. You know, just fix it. Boom. So it's not looking like that, warped little edge there. Just kind of make it less distracting, I guess, is what we're doing. Here we got a little bit of fun to do. Let's just paint that blue in. And let's paint that white. Let's just wipe that out. Ooh, that's tough. Well, let's just round it off, right? Let's just round it off and not lose that edge. See, it's got that inner edge going along there. We'll just paint this guy out. Looks like the blue changed colors considerably there. All right. And then right here, we'll just paint that in. And it's trying to give that indication of this inner edge. And it's just failing miserably, in my opinion. So we'll just kind of fix those things up. We just don't want it to be as messy and as obvious that there's all these little problems. I mean, you could sit here and redraw every part of this thing, but the other idea is to like get done inside of this century. All right, fix all that. Easy peasy stuff. This is really easy. I don't know if this looks hard to anybody. It's not. I am literally just painting inside the lines like you did when you were a kid. And I have a solution for those mixed blues that I'll show you here in just a second, so don't worry about that. I know the colors are not consistent. I'm just making them consistent enough. And you'll see what I mean in just a second. People that watch my tutorials already know what I'm going to do, I'm sure. I just don't want that to be a problem when we make a selection letter. I'm trying to get those colors close enough to each other. Okay. All right. So now let's just do our big white. Here's how we're going to do that. We're going to select all this. Boom. Okay. So now we're just going to do Control-Shift-I. And I'm going to hit Control-C and Control-Shift-V. And now that's on its own layer. And there's a little problem that I made. Let's just delete that. And I am going to turn this whole thing white. So I'm going to do Blending Options, Color Overlay, and I'm just going to do Pure White. And there's my white. And then I'll turn that off. I'll turn this back on. And I'm going to turn off Contiguous and just select all the blue. So I'm going to Shift Select a couple of different spots in the blue, trying to like force, any little cracks and crevices. So I've got Contiguous off, so it's like selected that color blue everywhere that it found it. I'm going to hit Control-C. This only works because we're really big, right? And I just pasted that blue again. And now I'm going to select the blue color and just say I'll use that blue right there. And then I'm going to do Blending Options, Color Overlay, and just set to that blue right there and hit OK and hit OK. And turn this one on. And then we've got our stuff. So we don't have any of the original pixels from the original artwork. So now if we set a solid color of blue, or we set a solid color of white, we're going to see that our artwork is pretty much perfect. It looks like there's a problem right there. So I'm messed up, I think, in my original work on this, and must have not spotted those little problems right there. And now that the rest of it's so clean and stuff, it's actually making that look a lot worse. So I'm just going to grab my brush tool. This is my blue layer. I'm just going to paint that in. And see, now it's painting with just that perfect color of blue. And then here, I'm actually just going to erase it. So I'm just going to use my eraser tool. Well, E for eraser. And just erase. Oh, I don't know why that didn't work. What am I doing wrong? This is my blue, right? Yeah. So Y, oh, E. Okay, I must not have switched to my eraser. All right, and I'm just going to come in here and hit. Now, if I wanted this to be even cleaner, what I could do now is I actually could export these two layers and get a vector trace off of them. So that would even be cleaner. So it's pretty good now. But if I wanted to just make this black, for instance, and I wanted to make this black, just go ahead and make those black. And then export them individually. So I'm just going to export this one. All right, that's like my outer. So I'll call this Bobcats outer. And then turn this one on. And we'll export that. And we will call it Bobcats inner. Or I could have called it blue. Then I can bring that into Inkscape. I'll just close that one, open up a new one. And now I can just grab both of those images. So I've just selected both of them at once and just dropping them on. And they should just kind of drop on exactly the same so that they're lined up. But if they're ever not lined up, like say one of them came on, kicked off a little bit, you can just select both of them. I'm just holding shift and selecting them here. And since they're the same size exactly, you can just have it, sort them relative to the page. I'm just aligning them. So that's object, align and distribute. It hides down there. And now they're lined up. Okay, so now we're going to trace them. And I'm just going to select one of them and hit apply. And that is definitely my blue. Okay, and then I'm going to select this one and trace it. And that is definitely my whites. And I'm just going to change that color to whites. So we're just going to go all the way over here. So now that's pure white. And now I can set it to any color I want it to be. But here's the blue color I chose earlier. And I'm just going to select that other blue. And I'm just going to plop that color into the first 6 of this RGBA. And there it is. Control-Shift-R. And now we have a vector object. And it's, Inkscape's just cleaned up some of the little inconsistencies that I left behind. It's made it better because that's what it does. So let's just save this out. This is now our Bobcats SVG. Okay. And then we can export it too. So I'm just going to say, 4,500, that's plenty to export something like this. And I'm going to call this Bobcats Polka Dots. I think a lot of those are Bobcats Polka Dots though. And I'll just call it blue as well, just so we remember. All right, and we'll just hit export on that. Boom. And then to share those back, I've got to go find in the drive the right folder. So the way we organize this stuff, we put, we will look for shirt happens. There it is. And I'm just going to put that right here. And it's nice to share. Here's the SVG I used to create it with. And then here's also the PNG. Before I upload that PNG, though, I need to do one last thing. I need to open this back up with Photoshop. And it is perfectly good size. It's 4500 px, and that's what matters with quality. But I'm going to set this to 15, and I'm going to set this to 300, and see it's still 4500. I'm just telling the image that it's 300 DPI, and that is not changing the dimensions at all, and it's not changing the quality at all. It's just the right thing to do. And then the way we do this is we're going to say 4500 px and then mic RTP. Okay, So that's that one. And we're just going to upload that. And I am going to, ooh, looks like we have a Bobcats folder. Oh, I see. That's the request. Yeah, I don't know if that's the right thing for our team to do. We've already got the images here. We don't need to load them in there. Now this one we're going to be able to improve quite a lot. So let's just go ahead and deal with this one too. And we're probably going to just let this one go. We're not going to be tracing this because it's got this, oh gosh, what's that called? It's not a plaid. There's another term for that. Anyway, it's got that pattern inside. So it's going to, it's just going to be what it is. We're not going to be tracing that pattern. So let's open this up with Photoshop. First thing we want to do is just get rid of some of the stuff that's confusing. So a lot of this stuff comes from people working with their phone. Like your customer might be sending you screen images, screenshots, which is what you're up against these days. They don't even have a computer. And they're trying to be designers with ChatGPT. So I'm going to call this Bobcats plaid. I don't think it's really plaid. Is it a tartan? Yeah, I'm going to say blue tartan just to sound cool, like I know what I'm talking about. And we're going to do that same trick. We're going to go back to ChatGPT. We want to start a new chat, copy. I'm going to just paste this. Recreate and redraw the print ready production quality version of this design. Let's say, keep the keep the pattern inside the letters consistent. Yep, I'm going to get rid of that, make it just two colors, and I'm going to say isolate on black, and then we will just hit go after we upload the image. Boom, go. So I'm doing that same thing. I've got one going over here, and then I've got another one going over there, and I'm just not real happy with that pattern. Oh, let's just go ask Gemini what that pattern even is. It's really messy in the original. I mean, that's how you can tell that this isn't ready to print. Like, this is the image we got. Look at that pattern. What do you call this pattern in these letters? Let's find out. Yeah, see, look, it's just garbled it. It's awful. Awful. It's also garbled the outside here. I mean, it is so screwed up trying to recreate that pattern. It just can't. Yeah. Messed up. Okay. So it's gingham. That's what I was looking for. It's not tartan. Okay. Create a smooth, sharp, gingham, blue pattern. Seamless. Let's see if Gemini can help us out of this hole that we're in. So I think this is the best version of the letters that we've gotten. Let's just download this. And we are going to, we're going to upscale it. This one's going to be, I acted like this one was going to be easy because I was hoping ChatGPT could handle that pattern, but it can't. Beautiful. That's correct looking to me. So we'll download that. I do think that might be seamless. Gemini's pretty good at that stuff. So here's our upscale. Let's open that up with Photoshop. We're going to grab this background and we're going to turn on contiguous. And we're actually going to scoot in. We're going to select modify, expand by 5 pixels. Okay, and I'm just going to delete. Well, I should have also got this stuff. Yeah, let's just delete that. All right. I'm just wanting this black. So, I mean, another way I could do this is I could select just what I want. Let's just go in 5 pixels and delete that. We don't want this. Yep. We don't want this. Let's just draw that out because I'm scared I can't select that close. And we'll also select this and we will delete it. Yeah, and then A, I'm fine with that. Okay, we'll call this done. And we will do file, export, and save this. Yeah, it's just all trash anyway. And we'll grab here. We'll do a new SVG. We'll close that other one. And we're going to pull this in. And there's our upscaled. Oh no, I think okay. Yeah, that's all right. Let's hit apply on that. And we'll just get rid of this. And then we're going to select this and we're going to do Control-Shift-K and break it apart. So now I can delete these little pieces inside that I don't need. And then we'll just start bringing these back together. So I'm just going to select all that and hit Control-K. I'll select this, Control-K. We'll select this, Control-K. This, Control-K. This A is going to need some work. Okay. So each piece, we're just joining that letter back up with itself. Okay, and that S I think also needs some work. So I'm just going to take this A and scooch it. Oh, I think I joined all those accidentally. Yeah, I sure did. All right. I want those to be individual. Okay. I'm going to start with this S, and I'm just going to scooch it just a little bit to get it off that T. And then I'm going to get this T a little bit over. And I'm going to get this A a little bit over. Okay. And, you know, we're really performing some surgery here. Let's fix some of this stuff we see happening here. So this, we just need to move this guy out, right? And then move this guy over. And that one we can probably just delete. And this one, we can just pull this handle up and just kind of make that look okay. I mean, it's not perfect, but it's better than what we had. And again, not the Mona Lisa. It's just a t-shirt. As I sit here and try to be perfectionist, let's just make that node auto smooth. And then this one, let's just delete it. That fixes a lot. And we'll auto smooth that one. Okay. And I'm not real happy with this corner here. I just feel like I have to make this curve more. Okay, that's some kind of node type I'm not familiar with. Let's just make it a smooth node. Just make that. Oh. All right. And we've got this little mess up here. So we'll just fix this the same way. We'll delete that one. These are all going crazy here. We'll delete this one. And I'll pull this down here. And we'll just assume that's good. Let's delete this. Let's just pull this over. Nice good match. All right. I see it switching between a lot of styles, but I mean, that's what you get when you're dealing with AI, right? You're going to get weird stuff. And it's what you ask for. It's what you sign up for. So Control-Shift-R. Now we've got our Bobcats initial path. I'm seeing a little bit of oddity up here in this corner. No, I think it's okay. All right. So now let's give it a stroke. So we're going to do a stroke. Let's do stroke style, stroke paint. This is our object. Hang on. Let's join all this back up together because we moved them around. We did our little adjustments we wanted. And we're going to give it a white stroke. Yeah. And then our stroke style, we're going to make sure it's rounded. Actually, it's sharp. We'll give it a rounded cap. We'll set this order. And we'll zoom in and see what we're doing. So let's make this 10. All right, I thought I was typing 10. All right. And I'm just going to look back at our original and see what we had. So it's a little thick, but it's not bad. Let's do 7. Okay. And then I'm going to grab the insides of all these. So I'm just going to select here. And I'm going to select here. And here. And here. Oh, on that B, I need to select here as well. So I'm just selecting one node from all the insides and, of these different pieces. So here, here. Looks like a hot mess down there. All right, so now we're going to Control A. So I just hit Control A. And now I'm going to exit this mode and do Control Alt V and see what I got. Oh, I must not have hit Control C. So that was a big waste of time. Sorry about that. Here, let's get in here. Let's go boom, 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 boom. We're trying to fill this, these inner parts. All right, Control A, Control C. And then exit, Control Alt V. Okay, cool. All right. I think that's kind of close to the original. Yeah, except it's got a bigger stroke on the inside. So now let's do that. Let's do a stroke. I can't really do an inside stroke, can I? Okay, so let's just take this. We'll just take this path and push it up. Whoa. I'm not even sure what happened there. So this path, oh, it has a stroke on it. That's what the deal is. All right. So this path, let's figure out which one of these is our inside. That's our outer. All right. And this is our inner. And we're going to take on our inner, we're going to get rid of that stroke. Yep. Boop. And now we can turn our outer on. Okay, now everything looks pretty good. So now this inner, I am actually going to give it a little bit of a stroke. We'll give it stroke, but we'll make it black. And that we'll just make it a 1 millimeter. So there's just a little bit of black. Then we got our white around. All right. So now we've got these two pieces. And I am going to turn off this outer and save this inner. So I'm just going to export this. Well, I'll just save it as an SVG. File, save as. And we will call this Bobcats inner. And then we'll turn off the inner and turn on the outer. And we will save this as Bobcats outer. All right. And then we're going to go grab that pretty pattern that we have here. And we're going to save that. And we'll just call this gingham. Oh, I think if we hit this button right here, it'll save a bigger version. And that's good. Okay. And there it is. Okay. Let's open this up and let's make sure this truly is. Wow. I have no idea what's going on here. Look what it did. I'm going to just save this. because that looks not messed up. And that is not messed up, except for having that little Gemini symbol. It's almost like Gemini just wants to shame us that we used it. So it gives us this little symbol on everything. Let's just remove that. Cool. Let me save this. Well, we'll just merge that down. We'll export this as a PNG. Yeah, that's fine. Gobbledygook, we'll rename it. Let's select that PNG and we'll upscale it. We don't need much. Let's just go 3x just to be safe. That's probably too big. And let's see. Yeah, it didn't distort it here, so that's good. All right, we're going to call this Gingham Blue. And then we're going to open this with Photoshop. And we're going to do View, Pattern Preview. And voila. Yeah, I'm so proud of Gemini for being able to pull that off. I mean, there's a little bit of distortion here, but for the most part, it's really good. So let's just let this go. And okay, so we're ready. Let's put the final artwork together. So let's do File, New, and we're just going to do width. Well, let's just go 6,000. And height, we don't need much. It's like 3,000, right? This is a, and then resolution, we'll just set that to 300 and hit create. And then let's bring both of these in, the outer and the inner. And we'll just set them on there. All right, and I'm going to bring them in slightly because I don't like to work right up against the edge. And I'm really not happy with some of the stuff I'm seeing. Oh, that's right, because I think because the strokes are just not being treated properly. So we actually need to turn off the strokes. Let's do that. I got all happy with those strokes, and I need to turn them off. Either that or it's just not respected. Maybe that inner needs to be above that outer. Yeah, see, it's still messed up. I'm not sure what's happening there. Let's turn off the strokes and see what we get. So turn off the stroke. Actually, I think we can just double click on this outer. That's the only one that has a stroke. And that'll open it up in Photoshop. I mean, open it up in Inkscape. And we'll just select this object and we will just turn off that stroke and we will just, whoa. That was the fill. Turn off the stroke. All right, and we'll just save this back and see if that fixes our problem. All right, so there's the inner. There's the outer. Let's turn that off. Yep. Okay. All right. Now we're ready to work. So we'll add that stroke back in Photoshop here, and we'll just make it white. And we'll just go kind of small. Yep. And then here's our inner. And we're going to add a stroke on that as well. And that's going to be inside. And it's a little bigger. That's right. Yep, all that's working out. And then we're going to add our gingham blue in here. And I'm just going to turn it like this and size it down. And I think I'm just going to try to size it so that it'll fit over all the letters. Let me just make sure this will fit over the T. Yep. Perfect. All right, here we go. Let's just set it there. And then I'm going to create clipping mask to the inner. All right, and I'm just going to duplicate that layer and move it over. And then I'm going to duplicate that layer, and I'm going to move it over here too. Yep. And then we'll duplicate it, and we'll move it over here. This is working out great. Or at least I think it's working out great. And we'll duplicate that. Move it over here. And one more. Duplicate that. And move it over here. Boom. Okay, I think we're done. I'm going to save this as a PSD. This is my Bobcats Gingham blue. Okay, and I am going to do image trim. So I'll trim it. And then it's got to be trimmed or it's not going to come into the layout designer the right way. 15 and 300. Okay. We're going to do File, Export, Quick Export as PNG, and I'm going to do 4500 PX Mic RTP. Save. All right. And then, to share it, obviously I've got to put it somewhere. So there, I'm going to put that PSD file up here. So if any of my team members need to change this, they can. I'm going to put those inner and outers up here because why not? And I'm also going to put the actual Gingham Blue file. So in here, you've got all these different links, like this one right here. That's the file you want to download. Just come here with your computer, your laptop or desktop, and just open up this little details, and you can click and see what these different files. So that's one you want to print. It's 15 inches. This is one you want to upload to the Crystal DTF Layout Designer. It's 15 inches. This is another one that's 15 inches. So you can make them whatever size you want in the Layout Designer, and they're going to be fine. And these are all ready to go. And so I'm just going to go into this Bobcats folder, actually, and just delete these. So now I hope everybody's going to know what's going on here. I don't want to confuse anybody. I'm going to take all these and put them in that Bobcats folder. All right, and I'm going to make a nice preview image for the customer. So they're going to see this one. I'm just going to download this one. This is the one Summit did. And we'll make a little preview to show everything that we've got, everything we've done. So now, let's open this up with Photoshop. And we're going to put a solid color of black behind it. And then we're going to do image canvas size. And I'm just going to expand the height. I'm not sure exactly how much, but I'm going to do 3000 pixels to give some room on the top and the bottom. And then let's just grab in these other two that we've done for them. So there's this one. I'll scoot that up. And then the other one. Oh, I hit enter. I'm just dragging these in and dropping them from my folder. I'll scoot that one up there. All right. And then I'll turn this off and I'll do that image trim. All right. And then I'll turn this back on and I'm going to do image canvas size 100. Well, shoot, we're really big. Let's do 500 and 500 to give ourselves some room around. And then I'm going to export this and call it preview. Bobcats preview. All right. And I'm just going to upload that as well. So they have all of it. Now I'm going to share, copy link, and go and actually share on here. And I don't see Sure It Happens has actually said anything back to us. There he is right here. All the images are now clean. I want to tell him that the link is in another comment because they might not be able to see the comment. The link is in another comment. Please change to all comments from most relevant so you can see the links, the comments that have links. All right, sticky keyboard. And I'm just giving this, boom, boom. All right. I'm going to remove that comment. And this is how you share right here to go full circle on this tutorial. That's how you share. All right. Boom. All right. Wow, that was long. Sorry for all that. I hope it was helpful for some. We did a lot of different techniques in one tutorial, and I hope it really leveled somebody up out there. So thanks for watching. Thanks for ordering from Crystal DTF. We appreciate you. Take care.